Chapter 33 of Just Stories, The Kind That Never Grow Old by Winfred Hurst, SDS. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Maria Therese. A Little Child Shall Lead Them. From the many beautiful legends about the Savior's childhood, I have selected this one today. It again shows how the God so great was hidden away in that child so small. Of course, I don't know just how old Jesus was at that time, but I think he must have been about 10. Then one day his mother Mary wished to pay a visit to St. John the Baptist, who was living in a lonely place far away among the hills. There, even though still a boy, only a little older than Jesus, he was preparing himself by prayer and penance to be the forerunner of the Messiah. We often see Jesus and St. John together on beautiful pictures of Catholic art, so we may think that Jesus must have visited him from time to time. He went with his Holy Mother that day. Oh, but it was hot that day! The sun's rays beat down unmercifully upon the two holy ones as they walked along in the heaven of each other's company. I wonder what they talked about. I would just like to stop and think and listen. After a long time they came to a very wild place with rugged hills and gloomy forests all around. Mary knew the place because she had been there before, and she also knew that there was a well near by, where weary travelers could rest and refresh themselves with a cooling drink. Taking the child Jesus by the hand, she led him to the spot. She was just letting the oaken bucket down into the deep well when an awful roar sounded behind her. The very earth seemed to quake. Then all nature was quiet, as though frightened by the angry voice of the king of the beasts. Yes, that's what it was, a huge lion with red, bloodshot eyes, his gigantic jaws wide open, his tongue licking his terrible teeth. Were Jesus and Mary afraid? No, not the least little bit. Jesus was the real king of all creation, and Mary was his mother. So she just glanced gently at the enormous beast as the bucket slowly descended to the bottom, and said, in tones of pity, "Oh, the poor creature is almost dying of thirst. We must give it to drink." Quickly she drew the bucket, full of clear and sparkling water, to the top and set it before the mighty lion. While the king of beasts took long, deep, contented draughts of the precious liquid, Mary watched with a happy smile, and Jesus patted the shaggy mane. "Remember, you must never again scatter the herd, never again kill innocent children and weary travelers." Gently and quietly were those words uttered by the omnipotent boy. But the king of beasts understood. Did he really? He drew his dripping head out of the bucket, and once more the lion's roar, a thunderous rumble that fills both man and beast with fear, shook the earth. It was the lion's last attempt at fierceness, I suppose. It seemed to say, "I don't like to be gentle, but now I have to. The King of all creatures has commanded me." After Mary had drawn up some more water for Jesus and herself, they continued on their way. But the lion followed them closely like a huge, faithful dog. Surely no robber would have dared attack the holy travelers that day, as they walked through the wild places of that lonely country. I wonder, can you tell me why? When they had almost reached the rude cave in which St. John was living, Our Lady turned round and gently bade the grateful beast to return to his forest home. He did not seem to want to go, but when she clapped her lily-white hands, he turned and walked sadly away. Doesn't it seem strange that Jesus, the powerful God, should have let himself suffer in his human nature in so many ways during his life, from his birth in the cold stable at Bethlehem until his death upon the cruel cross? He did it all to redeem us and to prove how much he loved us. He suffered everything of his own free will. We must often ask him to help us understand his mighty love. End of chapter 33.